The road to Johnson City begins here. Welcome to the Camden Athletic Complex for coverage of the Region 19 Division III Final Four between Rowan College of South Jersey and the Middlesex Colts. We're wasting no time. Welcome to Camden Athletic Complex just at high noon, 11:56 a.m. We welcome you aboard here. I'm Dan Wilkins, your starting pitcher for today for the Roadrunners for RCSJ. The three-time repeat national champions is the sophomore to Point Pleasant Borough. It's Bryson Kirby coming in with a 42 2/3 innings, 17 walks, 58 Ks, a 4.22 ERA, and a 1.36 whip. But the road to Johnson City begins today. It'll be Chase Tolaro leading us off. We've got plenty of baseball. 3 games today, 27 maximum innings here from a sunny Camden on this Thursday afternoon, and we are underway with the ball outside to Tolaro, and it's 1-0. Middlesex coming into this game at 37-15, the 4 seed, but not the lowest seed in this tournament. Camden upset Cumberland in the first round as the number 6 seed. They beat Cumberland in just 2 games, beating them 12-2 and then 5-4. 2 balls, no strikes to Tolaro. Kirby's 2-0 in there for a strike, 2-1. Tolaro, a freshman out of Indian Hills High School in Oakland, New Jersey. Batting .409 this year, 2 homers, 28 RBIs, and 20 stolen bases. Hitting out of the left side box as the 2-1 in there for a strike, 2-2. 11:56 a.m. your first pitch, 60 degrees here in Camden, wind blowing 8 miles an hour to the northwest. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kirby to Tolaro. He delivers, and a high chopper. This one's going to go out to second base. Gavin Cohen's got a play. Underhands the first. Bang, bang play, and he got him. Out number 1 as Tolaro is retired. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Middlesex Colts. We'll see Chase Tolaro in right field. He'll be followed by Stanley Bobadilla at shortstop.
Now
Ryan
number
Akisto
8,
is the first
Bobadilla.
baseman batting third. After him, it'll be A.J. Gonzalez, the catcher. Julian Galato in left field. It'll be Jamie Tamayo in center field. John Aranchak, the DH, followed by Elvis Quezada, the third baseman, and Chris Fogarile, who is the second baseman. Your pitcher is Nick Anderson. Strike is called to Bobadilla to start his at-bat. Breaking ball outside. What I like about Bryson Kirby is that breaking ball. It really gets a lot of right-handed hitters to chase, especially on 2-strike counts. That's what makes him very effective. I mean, he's got 57 strikeouts this year. Definitely one of the better pitchers in Region 19, especially for this Roadrunner club, as this ball flied into right field. Straight away for Mastero. He'll make the play, and that's out number 2. With the crowd just filing in, we'll now see the batter in Akisto.
Now batting for Middlesex, number 11, Ryan Akisto.
These two were teammates in high school. Both went to Point Pleasant Borough High School. Over down at the Jersey Shore. Akisto batting .372. 6 homers, 61 RBIs. And the strike is called, 0-1. Roadrunners in the bottom of the first will bat 1, 2, and 3 with Joe Mayer, Alex Apicella, and Jack Mastaro. That one misses, 1-1. 3 games today. Second game will be Camden and Brookdale. Camden the 6th seed, Brookdale the number 2 seed. And last year's Region 19 champion after downing Rowan College, as that one's high, 2-1. Just a great day for baseball. Had some rain this morning, but the clouds have passed. And it looks more or less clear from here on out as it's 3-1. Appeal to first says no. Three balls, 1 strike. Middlesex looking for their first base runner of the day. 3-1. Fouled back and he stays alive. Makes it 3-2. In the on-deck circle will be A.J. Gonzalez for Middlesex. But Kirby and Akisto, again, as we said, longtime teammates over at Point Pleasant Borough when David Drew was the head coach. And that will be up and in ball 4. So Akisto draws the walk on the full count, and Middlesex has their first base runner. This will bring up Gonzalez.
Next up, number 15, A.J. Gonzalez.
Both of these gentlemen were class of 2024 at Point Pleasant Borough. Akisto was a .310 hitter with the Panthers. Had 65 career hits. Meanwhile, Bryson Kirby in high school had a 2.51 ERA at a 1.54 mark when he graduated Point Pleasant in 2024. Swing and a miss by Gonzalez. It's 0-1. So the battle of two teammates. Akisto won the battle. And it's 0-1 to A.J. Gonzalez. Sophomore out of Elizabeth High School. Home of the Minutemen up in Central Jersey. .473 average, 4 home runs, 47 RBIs. He scored 36 runs. Throw back to first, not in time. Gonzalez has also walked 21 times for an on-base percentage of .542. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kirby nods and delivers. That one's up and out. The battery combination of Bryson Kirby and Jaden Rosado. Rosado from Bridgewater Raritan High School won the Group 4 state championship back in 2024 after a 30-win season. 2 balls, 1 strike to Gonzalez. Swing and a miss. Didn't leave that one for the Birds. That one was definitely high in the zone. I don't think that would have been called either, so it's definitely a clear chase. And it's 2-2. Looking to keep the Colts off the board here in the top of the first inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the pitch. Low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner will go on the pitch. Full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bryson Kirby to A.J. Gonzalez. If the inning continues after him, it'll be Julian Collado in left field. Rosado sets up outside. Runner goes, and it's a swing and a miss. So Bryson Kirby gets out of it with a swing and a miss. He strikes out 2, and going to the bottom of the first, it's no score. Roadrunners batting after the break. Starting pitcher for Middlesex will be Nick Anderson. Right-hander, 52 2/3 innings for him this year. 12 walks, 31 Ks, a 3.59 ERA, and a 1.33 whip for the right-hander. A freshman out of Union Catholic High School, definitely a contender in non-public A, even though they're actually considered a South Jersey team in non-public A. They played, I believe, St. Augustine in the playoffs last year, the team from Atlantic County. But your starting lineup for Robb Valley and the Rowan College Roadrunners. Apologies there. It'll be Joe Mayer, the shortstop, batting leadoff. Alex Apicella is your third baseman in the 2 slot. He'll be followed by Jack Mastaro in right field batting third. Nick Slodzik at first base batting fourth. Nick Izzo in left field batting fifth. Jaden Rosado is the catcher in the 6th slot. Gavin Cohen at second base. Carter Comiskey is your designated hitter batting 8th, and then Caleb Delaney in center field in the 9th slot. So Mayer will lead us off in the bottom of the first inning. Up and in. 1 ball, no strikes to Mayer. Mayer, the product of Donovan Catholic, another non-public contender. think I remember the first game that I ever covered with Rowan College as a freshman. My first game, I think it was here. It was actually when I was still in high school. I actually know. You know what? It was 2025 because Mayer would have been a freshman then. It's 2-1, and I remember I was tasked with reading out the starting lineups, and I accidentally called him John Mayer on my first go-around. Mayer cracks this one foul down the third base line, 2-2. Mayer batting .420 in this sophomore season, 7 home runs, 45 RBIs. He scored 83 runs for the Roadrunners. But a very good crowd on hand. Brookdale's already here waiting for their game. They play Camden at approximately the 3 o'clock mark. They're hanging on over there. I think Johnny Johnson's in that crowd somewhere. The 900 win head coach for Brookdale. It's a 2-2 to Mayer. Low, 3-2. Mayer and then Alex Apicella, the transfer from James Madison University and a product of Saham High School East in Holbrook, New York on Long Island. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson delivers. Breaking ball, ground ball to third, picked up, throw across to Diamond is in time. And Quezada's able to take care of him for out number 1 as a 5-3 ground out across to Diamond. He's the first out of the inning.
Now batting for RCSJ, the third baseman, number 3, Alex Apicella.
Apicella the batter. First pitch from Anderson. Ball's popped up, way up there, out towards right field, going over, and it's caught at first base. Nice play by Akisto to bring that one down. It's out number 2. That ball almost split between the second baseman and the first baseman, and then Akisto kind of just cut him off. I mean, the sun has been fading in and out today, so it's not a surprise that we could see something like that come to light on a pop fly in the infield. Here's Jack Mastaro. Strike called inside corner. Mastaro, the product of Gloucester Catholic. Younger brother of R.J. Mastaro, who broke a lot of records in his 2 years with the Roadrunners and is now at Monmouth University. 16 home runs, 86 RBIs. As that ball's laced into right center field, it's a base hit. Be picked up by Trillaro, and that's the first hit of the Region 19 tournament. It comes to Jack Mastaro. So here is now Nick Slogic in the 4 spot.
Now batting the first baseman at number 9, Nick Slogic.
So runner on, 2 away. Now this top 3 combination you're seeing here between Mastaro, Slogic, and Izzo, they all occupy the 2, 3, and 4 slots for most RBIs in the nation. As that one missed, 2-0. We have a stat ready for you of the of what we were just talking about. On the right side of your screen, Sebastian Palma leads the nation in RBIs out of Dallas East Field at 91, but Mastaro has 86, Slogic has 82, and then Nick Izzo, who's in the on-deck circle, has 72. So that's 3 hitters back-to-back for the Roadrunners that all are top 4 in the nation in RBIs. Behind them is Robert Mello out of Hudson Valley at 70, and then 2 SUNY Niagara products, Dalton Harper, and Mike Schaefer at 69 and 68. But still, just 4 different teams represented in the top 7. Now Middlesex has Akisto, which is 11th nationally in RBIs. But the 2-1 is high. 3-1. And I remember last year when R.J. Mastaro was a sophomore here, he was nursing a hand injury during the Region 19 Final Four and wasn't expected to play, but he ended up coming in for some key at-bats down the stretch as this one popped up to first base. Slogic retired and the inning is over. Through 1, no score here at Camden Athletic Complex between Middlesex and Rowan College. Welcome back. Strike call to Galato to start the top of the second inning. Joining us in the booth for the top of the second is John Galante, who is the president of the Tri-State Elite Umpiring Association. As that ball is stopped at short. Great play by Mayer. On a scoop to first. It's in time. So a strong play for out number one. But, John, it's good to have you in the booth right now. Main question for you to start is, first of all, there's the United Umpiring Association that's on the field right now. This is obviously a big operation that you have brought up in the last couple of years, and you've really expanded the reach of umpiring in South Jersey. What has been your main goal so far, and maybe what's something you've been proudest of here in your journey in South Jersey?
Yeah, it's been thanks for having me, first of all. But, it's been cool to see, the growth here. But United Collegiate Umpires is a great operation run by Alex Scandalis. He's the coordinator of umpires here. I work in an observer role for the organization. So to get down here and be able to support these umpires who were selected for the postseason is awesome. And so we've been able to funnel some umpires up through the ranks from TSE, travel baseball, high school, get those guys trained up and get them ready for JUCO Division III, and then pass them off to Alex.
And then what does it mean to you to have, yesterday was a big example of it. We had a game between GCIT and Kingsway where the base umpire, Nolan Leidy, he's only 21 years old. You've really brought in a new wave of younger umpires, those that are seeking knowledge of the game, and if he makes this catch, we'll stay through the inning break. But that'll be out number 3, a very quick top of the second inning. But, John, I'll pass the question along to you. What does that mean to you to have such a new wave of umpires coming on, those that are younger and able to really advance the generation of the game? Because we all know that umpires are getting thinner and thinner, and we're trying to get a little bit of a different wave. Well, we're going to stay on. So we're going to stay on through the inning break. So
what we've really tried to do is not make years of service like a prerequisite. If somebody can umpire, they can umpire. Some people take to this very quickly and are just naturally gifted, like many other things in life, like in baseball and anything else. Some people are just very adept at it, and we didn't want to hold umpires back just because of their age. If somebody is 3 years in at 22 years old and they're better than somebody who's 60, well, we're going to assign them like that. So I think that's been good to get new guys into the mix, and they know they're not relegated to lower levels, even if they're good or even if they're better than some others.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good philosophy that you carry yourself on, is that doesn't matter how long you've been in umpiring. If you're talented, you're talented. It's just like scouting a baseball player, where if the player is good, it doesn't matter where they came from. The player is good. You can test them on the different metrics. It doesn't matter whether they went to a prep school or a public school. They're a good ball player. And the same applies for the umpires. It doesn't matter whether you've had 2 years experience or 20 years experience. If you're a valuable umpire, that means a lot. So what has been maybe something that you have seen while you're umpiring, or maybe while you're officiating the game, or even just assigning the umpires, that you have seen as the biggest change in today's modern era of baseball?
Well, there's a lot of rule changes and timing changes, especially in college baseball. I mean, with the action clock, the in-between innings clock, all that stuff has changed the way we umpire and been good for the game. In high school baseball, I really think, there's been a real struggle to get enough umpires.
It's a ground ball to third. Izzo is retired. That's out number 1.
So there's been a lot of issues getting enough coverage for the lower levels of baseball, high school baseball. And so the innovative techniques to get people out and get them trained up and get them on the field, I think, has been something administrators from schools and coaches have welcomed a lot. So everything's getting covered now with the needed amount of umpires. So that's been really cool to see.
I think that was something that we had become increasingly concerned about in the last few years, was will varsity games start getting cut because there's not enough umpires? And I think that if the issue isn't solved, you've at least put in your 2 cents to help try to solve the issue. What do you think is something that you haven't done yet but you wish to do in your umpiring future? Maybe something that you wish to expand on, or something that you set as a future goal for TSE?
Yeah, I want to do a better job of recruiting kids coming out of high school, and we've started to work with high schools that we service to get to their career fairs and job fairs that they hold at the end of junior and senior years. So we're working on that. I think we've done a great job.
Rosado down the left field line. This one's pretty deep, headed towards the foul pole, and it is foul by a hair.
I think we've done a great job of getting younger, but I think we can do a better job, personally from our organization's perspective. So right now we've covered everything with 2 umpires for our entire existence, but we can still do a better job, no doubt.
And do you think that there's a future where you see yourself expanding into something like the NCAA range? Because you have the United Umpiring Association, but it's going to be difficult, obviously, as more NCAA umpires retire, and you're gonna have to cover all levels. You're gonna have to cover, the youth ball and the travel ball, and as you said, high school and junior college. Like, this is the United Umpiring Association, which you also are in good cohorts with. Do you see that expansion in your future?
Hopefully, it's really a first-class operation, United Collegiate Umpire. So I'm really.
Rosado down the left field line, barely a fair ball down into the corner. This will be picked up by Collado, and they're going to call this a foul ball. My apologies. Rosado was all the way down the line, headed towards second base, but did not pick up any, I was going to say chalk, but any fake white turf, and it's still 0-2.
So we'll see where all that stuff goes, but I work really closely with Alex, and he does a great job of coordinating the umpires for all the collegiate conferences that we service, and I'm happy to serve in the role I do now and kind of be a pipeline for college umpires. And I'm still young. I'm only 35, which is pretty young in the grand scheme of umpire administration. So I'm happy where I'm at right now, and happy to work with these guys.
That's what I think makes me so admiring of what you do with TSE, is that you're only 35 years old, and to have this position at this age and to be this intertwined with high school athletics in a hotbed of talent that is South Jersey. It's not like you're umpiring in the middle of Kansas or in the middle of South Dakota. You are umpiring in a position where you can grab folks from Philadelphia. You can grab people from the Wilmington area, New York, Trenton, Rutgers. There's so many different metropolitan areas around this area that you find a lot of different people. But I'll close with one more question before I let you go. You've obviously umpired for a long time, and you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and hopefully you've seen a lot better good moments than bad moments in the last few years. But what would you say is your favorite part about umpiring, or maybe what keeps you motivated to keep umpiring after all these years?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different aspects that are positive. I think we get hung up on the negatives too often, which there's definitely negatives, but it's a great way to earn a buck. It's fun. There's to me, my favorite thing is probably the camaraderie with my fellow umpires. We're all just trying to get better, which is, we're never going to be perfect at this. It's kind of an interesting avocation we have here where we're never going to be good enough, but we're trying to get better every day. And that's been the enjoyable part for me, and making sure the student athletes have appropriate umpires qualified for the level, and the game runs smoothly. So that's been my passion and really an enjoyable part of the process for me.
John, thank you very much for your time. I know that this is going to be a busy day and a busy weekend for you. We should note the 3 umpires on the field today. And again, thank you as always for sending us this information. It's Ben DiCostanzo, the crew chief. Aaron Brown is at first base, and he just made that call to call Gavin Cohen out at first and Frank Mercado at third. So everybody, John Galante, the president of Tri-State Elite Umpiring Association, joining us for the second inning. Thank you very much, and we'll hope to work with you many times soon.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for all you do for South Jersey baseball.
We'll be back after this. Through 2, no score. That one misses 2-0. And that's inside now, 3-0. That one misses for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Gonzalez.
Next up, the left fielder, number 38, Julian Collado.
So 2 away. Strike called to, Collado. So by the way, if you're rejoining us, it's 3-0, and I realized that just like last year, had a bit of an issue in the middle of the top half of the inning. So what you missed was a 3-run home run by Stanley Bobadilla. Now, we did save the replay for it. So at the end of the inning, I will present the replay at full speed, and we'll turn on the sound so you can hear the home run call. You know, not to boast myself, but just so you can kind of get the relive of the moment. Because I'll be honest, did not see that the Wi-Fi had gone out on us. It's very odd that that happens here. We've, knock on wood, had very few problems with internet here at Camden. So again, I sincerely apologize. I don't know what happened, but this has just not been a great day so far. As the 1-2, Kirby does not get him to go. Collado led off the second inning, flew out to left field. Ground ball right back to Kirby. Picks that one up. Strong play. Throw over to first is in time, and the inning is over. So we'll go to the bottom of the third, but in the meantime, let's show you that home run replay off the bat of Stanley Bobadilla. I love this dugout. I mean, they are loud. Got to see if the Roadrunners can match the energy as a fly ball, deep right field. This one's up. Mostaro looking up. It's gone. 3-run home run. But we'll have a replay of that foul ball. That one's low. 1 ball, no strikes to Apicella. Just so many issues on our broadcast today. I really apologize, folks. Good thing about messing up in game 1 is that you have, well, let's see, 2 more games today and then 3 more tomorrow. I've basically got 7 games to fix it. Fly ball to right center field. This is going to bring home Rowan's first run of the game. Throw to the plate, no throw. Cut off by the first baseman. Delaney scores, and it's a sac fly for Alex Apicella that makes it 3-1. So brings in the runner from third. That's out number 2. We'll take a look at the replay here. This was the slow roller to third base that Elvis Quezada thought was foul. Umpire called it fair at the last second. Oh, my camera just didn't pick it up at the right time. And again, just a reminder to our viewers, this is a one-man band that I'm working today, so I won't have my producer called out sick. So I apologize for any lapses in the broadcast because I'm controlling the camera, the laptop, the balls and strikes, the commentary, and the entire setup of the entire operation. So again, I appreciate your patience as it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Jack Mastero. And if there is an issue, please let us know in the comments because I do have that up on my screen in case there is an issue so I can address it right away. Because normally we have assistants that do that, but if you're unaware of the time of year, it's around the time that college is wrapping up. Got a lot of folks taking final exams, and you know, a lot of the folks that we normally have for football and basketball season are away, won't come home for a few days, so certainly lacking availability on a lot of our staff. But RCSJ brought their first run home on that last at bat on a fly ball by Alex Apicella. As we said, while our signal was out, 3-run home run by Stanley Bobadilla in the top of the 3rd inning. But it certainly is a gauntlet to control every single aspect of a broadcast, as that one's high. A walk to Mastero, and that puts runners on first and second for Nick Slogic.
Next batter, the first baseman, number 9, Nick Slogic.
Slogic 0 for 1, popped out to first base in his first at bat. Ball missed high by Anderson. Misses that time, just off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes to Slogic. As we said earlier in the broadcast, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for RCSJ. Actually, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Jack Mastero, Nick Slogic, and Nick Izzo, are 2, 3, and 4 in the nation in RBIs. Taking a look at that stat again, you can see Sebastian Palma of Dallas Eastfield leads the nation at 91, and it's Mastero at 86, Slogic at 82, Izzo at 72, and then it's Robert Mello of Hudson Valley at 70, Dalton Harper and Mike Schaefer of SUNY Niagara at positions 6 and 7. The 1-1. Chopper down the third base line, it's foul. 1 and 2. If the inning continues after him, it'll be Izzo. One ball, 2 strikes. Middlesex 3, Rowan College 1. As Slogic fouls this one back. Just about 60 to 65 degrees here from Camden. Wind blowing slightly inside. Wind gusts of 8 miles an hour blowing to the northeast. Gusts up to 13 miles an hour. Slogic launches a ball to left field. It's up there, but staying in the ballpark. Collado brings it down, and the inning is over. RCSJ gets a run across on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Alex Apicella. Through 3, it's Middlesex 3, RCSJ 1.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Welcome back. In the top of the 4th inning, this broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. Visit their website for more information on future bookings at dawgprowrestling.com. And if you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we do have an email for advertising inquiries at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That's TheDanWilkinsshow@gmail.com. Count 1 and 1 to Tamayo to lead us off. 6, 7, and 8. Tamayo, Oranjak, and Quezada. Kirby, the 1-1. 3 hits for each side in this game. Middlesex had a 3-run home run in the top of the 3rd inning off the bat of Stanley Bobadilla. But remember, pitching means everything in this tournament, so especially if you lose, you have to play a second game. And even if you win, you're going to have to play again tomorrow. So whoever wins this tournament is destined to have a deep roster with a lot of valuable and versatile pitching. This ball's hit well. Out to left field by Tamayo. Going back to the wall. It's off the bottom of the wall. Takes a hop, takes a skip, and a throw down to second. Not in time. That's a double. Out to left field for Tamayo. And a 2-bagger to lead off the top of the 4th. That ball was just well struck. And if you know anything about Rutgers-Camden's ballpark, it is a lot easier to hit the ball out to right field than it is to left. It's 20 feet deeper. 311 down the right field line, 330 to left field. Not to mention the fact that the wind almost never blows out to left because of where the Delaware River is. Rosado got hit on that pitch. He might have gotten hit in the neck. Now Rob Valley's coming out. Elise Spalding, the athletic trainer. That ball skipped in off of Kirby. And Rosado is now holding his left hand at his neck. Now the catchers do have neck guards. But that only can do so much. So 1-0 count to Oranchak after the double by Tamayo. And Valley and Spalding still checking on Rosado. I'm not sure if he got the wind knocked out of him or if he Yeah, Jake Grice coming out. He's going to give him a cup of water. Again, hopefully he's okay, but it actually doesn't look like that catcher's helmet has any neck guard attached, which is what a lot of major league catchers have. But I think that pitch just got him in the very wrong place. Again, it looked like it hit him in his neck. But he's going to put his helmet on, and looks like he's going to reattach his pitch comm, and he's going to stay in this game. Very admirable there. He knows how much his team needs him behind the plate. And hopefully he continues to improve as the day goes on. 1 ball, no strikes. Kirby to Oranchak, the 7-hitter for Middlesex. The 1-0. Up and out. That's one of the worst feelings you can have as a catcher, though, is to be in that situation where, I mean, anybody knows when you get the wind knocked out of you, it's just a terrible feeling because you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know when it's going to stop. And you just need to sit down and take a minute, and that's exactly what he did. 2-0 count. Kirby threw back to second, but the shortstop wasn't covering the bag. Might have been a miscommunication. The 2-0. Up and out. A lot of outside fastballs here from Kirby. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something inside here on the 3-0. You know that he's probably less likely to swing on the 3-0. Don't think they'd give him a green light. But the 3-0, now he's going to show bunt, and he does get in there for a strike. It's 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike, and a swing and a miss. Another fastball high. That one wasn't as outside, but Kirby a little bit reluctant to use that breaking ball. Here with nobody out and the runner on second. After the double, by Tamayo. The 3-2. This ball's laced into right field. It'll drop in front of Mastero. He'll backpedal to get it. To third is Tamayo. He did not run on contact expecting that ball to be caught, but it was a smart move, and it puts runners on the corners here for Elvis Quezada.
Third baseman, number 22, Elvis Quezada.
Quezada had a single, the first hit of the game for Middlesex, and that was before they exploded for that 3-run home run. And now coming out, Rob Valley will talk to Bryson Kirby. But a high-stakes atmosphere here in Camden, as this is reminding me a lot of the game that Rowan College and Salem played last year, except that game went to 12 innings, and RCSJ led basically the entire time. They led up until the top of the 9th when the gentleman from Salem hit a 2-run home run to right field. It was one of the craziest home runs that I had ever seen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the 9th inning. He tied up the game, and then Salem went on to beat RCSJ in the 12th inning. Salem was eventually knocked out of the tournament, but RCSJ had to stick around all through the second game, and they eventually beat RCSJ Cumberland in Game 3 of the day by a score of 16-0. So they got the redemption. They made it all the way to the final before losing to Brookdale. But this year feels more than ever like you've seen adversity on all sides. Camden, a big upset over Cumberland, although there will be people that will try to tell you that it wasn't as much of an upset as you would think, and I honestly don't really disagree with that. But the point is that you have a 6 seed represented in the tournament. You have Middlesex, who wasn't here last year, and then you've got the 2 dogs in RCSJ and Brookdale who have been here before. They know what the atmosphere is like, and there's the lower-seeded teams like Middlesex and Camden who certainly have earned the right to be here and are very talented. But they certainly have to prove what it's worth. For Camden and Middlesex, who have not won a Region 19 title. Middlesex has never won a Region 19, Camden has never won a Region 19 title, and in fact, they haven't been in the Final Four since 2013. Strike called. Runner dives back at third. It's 0-2. In the history of Region 19 Division 3, RCSJ-Gloucester has 26 titles. Camden, they won one in 1997. Middlesex has never won. I got those two switched around. That ball pops out of the glove of Rosado. He doesn't see where it is. Runner's coming home. He makes a break for it. The throw. The ball gets trapped at the plate. It went under Kirby, and the run scores. Rosado just straight up missed it, and it costs them a plenty as the run comes in on the passed ball, and it's now 4-1 Middlesex. What a huge break. Moves the runner to second, scores the runner from third. It counts 1-2 as it's now a 3-run lead for the Colts, who again topped RCSJ in the regular season as there's a swing and a miss. Kirby picks up his second strikeout of the afternoon.
Second baseman number 4, Chris Fogarelli.
So Fogarelli the batter after Quezada struck out swinging. So 2 hits in the frame, 1 run home on the passed ball. Strike called, 0-1. If you're just joining us, 4-1 Middlesex over RCSJ-Gloucester. Middlesex opened up the scoring with a 3-run home run to right field by Stanley Bobadilla. RCSJ got a run back on a sacrifice fly. Middlesex just scored their 4th run of the game on a passed ball. Strike called there. Kirby back into the groove, and it's 0-2. The 0-2 is high. Rosado set up outside that time, trying to draw the chase. To Fogarelli. There is a right-hander warming up for RCSJ in the bullpen. We'll get eyes on that in just a second. Swinging a foul tip. Goes into the glove, and that's out number 2. So back-to-back strikeouts at the bottom of the order. Much needed for Bryson Kirby. We go back to the top for Trillaro.
The right fielder number 14, Chase Trillaro.
That is number 33, Tommy Bradley, warming up in the bullpen. Bradley, one of the older gentlemen on the team. I mean, not old, but he's a 2020 high school graduate. We saw him earlier in the season, and he had quite the interesting story. He's a 2020 grad of Monsignor Bonner in the Philadelphia Catholic League. Spent a semester at Penn State, but then left and stopped playing baseball for 2 years. He then started to get back into it. He started to throw. He started to, really just want to play again. And he joined RCSJ in 2024. So he's been a little bit everywhere. Hey. And Middlesex now leads by 4 runs. First pitch misses. To Bobadilla, had that 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. Feels so long ago. But the 1-0 to Bobadilla. Strike called. Breaking ball in the inside corner. Trillaro on that base hit gave him the 2nd hit of the game. Had a double in the 3rd, came around to score. The 1-1 from Kirby. Runner goes. Curveball high. It bounces off the turf, and the ball skips off the glove of Gavin Cohen. So a stolen base for Trillaro. And makes it 2-1 as that curveball missed upstairs. Bobadilla 1 for 2. Fly out to right in the 1st inning. Then that 3-run home run. And now it looks like Trelaro is coming up gingerly. Now Middlesex's trainer is coming out. Not sure if he got, I mean, he's favoring his right calf, or his right, I'm sorry, the upper leg on the right side. So he's being attended to. So Trelaro is going to try to run this out. And when we get back to action, it'll be a 1-1 count to Bobadilla. Two balls, one strike, pardon. Was looking at the scoreboard that was not properly updated. Always something here with Region 19. Always something interesting at this tournament. 2-1 is a swing and a miss. 2-2. Bobadilla and then Akisto. If the inning continues, 5-1 Middlesex. That one gets away. And coming fresh off of what could have been an injury there, now going down to third base, will be Trelaro. And it's now 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Five runs for Middlesex, 1 for Rowan College and the Roadrunners as Bobadilla looks to drive in another here with a 2-out rally. He wavered at it, strike 3. Home plate umpire says he offered, but Middlesex adds on 2 more runs on a passed ball and an RBI single by the leadoff man, Chase Trelaro. Go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Middlesex 5, RCSJ 1. Welcome back, bottom of the 4th inning over at Camden Athletic Complex. First pitch to Nick Izzo is fouled back. It's 5, 6, and 7 for the Roadrunners. They trail by 4 runs. Don't think a lot of people could have predicted this to start, but, I mean, listen, like we said, this isn't as crazy as some people might think. As that ball gets through, just got under the glove of Quezada. It bounces around the bullpen. It goes into left field. Izzo's going to go to second. Rob Valley over at third base wanted that ball to be called out of play, but he ended up getting to second anyway, so it'll be a double.
Catcher, number 11, Jaden Rosado.
So Izzo gets to second after the double, and now it'll be Jaden Rosado. Both teams are here, it looks like. I think Camden's just starting to get here. Brookdale has been here since almost the first pitch of this first game, trying to get as much prior knowledge as they can. I mean, I'll give Brookdale a lot of credit. These guys are baseball guys. They're locked in. They're not just here for themselves. As that ball bounces high off the netting, it's picked up by Gonzalez, and Izzo gets to third on the wild pitch. But that ball might have gone 3/4 of the way up the netting with how high that ball went. 1-0 to Rosado. Now, Rosado took a pitch earlier in the inning that skipped really high off the turf, and it looked like it hit him in the neck. So he ended up getting the wind knocked out of him, and he was able to stay in the game. As Rosado, deep to left field, he'll make up for it with a long ball. It's gone! Jaden Rosado, 2-run home run out to left field. We told you it's hard to hit the ball out to left in this ballpark, but with one swing, he makes up for the 2 runs that Middlesex scores, and he cuts the deficit in half. It's 5-3. The Roadrunners, who are second in Region 19 in home runs this year, just added on another. And before we go to Gavin Cohen, all 3 umpires are meeting here. Curious what this could be about after the home run. Again, today's umpires courtesy of the United Umpiring Association. That is Ben DiCostanzo, the crew chief, with the helmet. The first base umpire is Aaron Brown, and the third base umpire is Frank Bricado. So, not sure what the issue is, unless they're saying that he might have missed a base. They're going to go back, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any change in the call. That certainly would have been a controversial decision if it was overturned. But it's 5-3. As Cohen on the first pitch grounds it to second base, picked up, fired to first, and it's in time. I think this Middlesex infield is not going to let their mistakes from the third inning come back to haunt them, because the whole reason why Rowan got the first run in the first place was because of the fact that Caleb Delaney hit a ground ball to short, and Bobadilla was lackadaisical bringing the ball over. He backhanded it, he took a shuffle, and then by the time he threw it to first, Delaney was safe. So I think that these guys are really understanding the message. As this ball is going to get out of play, look out, over towards us. It just gets over the heads of everybody. Just clears the grandstands, and it's 0-1 to Comiskey. Don't see too many foul balls that just barely clear the netting. But to recap in this inning, Rosado had a 2-run home run. Prior to that was a Nick Izzo double, as that'll be a ground ball straight to first. Akisto tags the bag, and it's out number 2. And it'll now be Delaney. After 2 straight groundouts in the infield, a 4-3 for Cohen and a 3 unassisted for Comiskey. So it'll be Delaney. He busted out an infield single in the bottom of the third inning, which really shows how topsy-turvy this game has been so far. Strike call to Delaney on the inside half of the plate, 0-1. And this ball is lined out to short. Bobadilla makes the play, and the inning is over. So a quick 3 ground out silences a 2-run home run by Jaden Rosado. We go to the 5th inning, almost halfway through. It's 5-3 in favor of Middlesex.
Out of him, and he was able to stay in the game.
Top of the fifth inning here from Camden Athletic Complex. I'm Dan Wilkins of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. You're watching coverage of the NJCAA Region 19 Final Four on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our Venmo is at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens, and of course all proceeds that you send go towards travel costs, equipment expenses, and also taking care of our crew. We have over 30 assistants that we cover. Of course, none of them were available today, but out of high school and college, we have so many different people available. Unfortunately, well, standing to my right is Vincent Focht, who is the sports director at WDBK, Camden County College Radio. He's one of my best guys, and he's going to do a great job with Camden for their radio broadcast this afternoon. But it just goes to show, I put a lot of effort into promoting our crew and promoting the people that work with us. For example, Sam Goldberg, he just picked up a job with the Illinois Thrillbillies, which is a collegiate summer league team. He's on the road to Illinois right now as we speak. So that and our good friend Chase Parson, who is our lead director of soccer coverage, he just picked up a job with the Ocean City Nor'easters, which is a USL League 2 team. So the work that we put into Dan Wilkins Broadcasting really goes into advancing the careers of not just myself, but everybody that we work with in sports media. As a swing and a miss for the strikeout, running it down to first is Akisto, and he's retired for out number 1. And the batter will be A.J. Gonzalez. But, again, it is not required by any means. No matter the condition, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting will always be free to watch, but our Venmo is at DW Broadcasting if you would like to make a generous contribution. Not generous as in you are being generous. I try to stay humble when I can. I mean, this is obviously very much an honor to cover this Region 19 tournament, to be a part of such a prestigious event at such a prestigious venue. That one's outside. 2 pitches on the outside half to A.J. Gonzalez, who walked in his first at bat. Struck out swinging in the first inning. This ball's laced into left field. Going in for it. Izzo not going to have a play. He'll let it drop. And I think Bryson Kirby was a little bit frustrated there. He was hoping that his left fielder would come in and race for it. But you have to remember that RCSJ does not play that often on turf. Their home field conditions are vastly different than how they play normally at home. If you're used to RCSJ's home field, there's a literal incline in center field that goes out to the 403 sign as a throwback to first, not in time. So I'd say 90 to 95% of the games that RCSJ plays are on grass. So if you're an outfielder or really anybody in the field, you have to keep your head on a swivel for where that ball's going to bounce. We saw it earlier in the game where there was a double. I believe it was by Trelaro, or it might have been, it might have been Trelaro's double in the third, where he hit it to right field on the pull side, and then the ball bounced off of the bottom of the wall and it kicked away from Mestero. He was not ready for that carom. He wasn't ready for how the ball was going to react on the field surface, and it allowed an extra base because of it. So the main point is, yes, they play a few games a year on turf. They play a few games here. They play a few games at Diamond Nation in Flemington. They played a good chunk of their early season games there because of some really bad rain. As a high chopper, this one goes out to Cohen at second base. Not going to have a tag. He'll have a play at second, and the ball comes out. Mayer just could not hang on to the ball. And what could have been a double play turns into an error. That ball wasn't even on the transfer. He just never hung on to it. And the batter will now be Tamayo, who doubled to left field in the fourth.
Center fielder Jamie Tamayo.
Tamayo 1 for 2. Fly out to center and a double. As we mentioned, that ball that he struck in the fourth definitely looked like it had a chance to get out. But as we said, it's a lot harder to hit the ball out to left field, which that logic was struck down when Jaden Rosado homered to left field in the bottom half of the inning, as that one misses on the pickoff move. Still 0-1. Home plate umpire says he offered, and it's 0-2. I think that's the right call. I mean, he was just basically collapsing in front of the plate. 99% of the time, even if your bat is anywhere close to crossing the plane, if you're making that much of an effort, the umpire is almost certainly going to say that you went around. That one's away, 1-2. Sun has been fading in and out today. Mix of clouds and sun here from the Camden Athletic Complex. 65 degrees today with 60 at first pitch when we started at 11:56 a.m. And this is the top of the 5th inning in game 1 of 3 today. Swing and a miss. 2 away as Kirby has been ramping up the strikeout in recent innings.
John Aranchik.
Aranchik is the batter. He only had 1 strikeout through the first 3 innings and has now picked up 4 in the last inning and 2/3. So a total of 5 for the right-hander out of Point Pleasant Borough. First pitch. This one is lined over the middle, a base hit into center field. Rounding third is Gonzalez. He's got a play. Delaney with a rocket of an arm. It's cut off by Slogic. It's an RBI single off the bat of James Aranchek, and that will make it a 6-1 game. John Aranchek, pardon. And it's going to make it a 6-3 ball game. 3-run lead.
Elvis Quezada.
And Quezada will bat here as it's Aranchek's second hit of the game. Had a base hit in the last inning, and now he's got another and can tack on an RBI to that as well. And Rob Valley will come out. He will talk to his right-hander and will take him out of the game. He'll call in the Monsignor Bonner graduate out of the Philadelphia Catholic League, Tommy Bradley, as Bryson Kirby exits with a 6-3 deficit, 8 hits and 5 strikeouts, with, I believe, 5 of those 6 runs being earned. When we return, Tommy Bradley comes into the ballgame. New pitcher is Tommy Bradley, the right-hander. As we said, got an interesting story. 2020 grad of Monsignor Bonner. Well, you could say, well, how is he a sophomore in college baseball in 2026 at 24 years old? Well, we can tell you why. He spent a semester at Penn State, ended up leaving State College after the one semester, and as we said, took a couple of years off of baseball, started playing again in 2024, jumped around a little bit, and found his way at Rowan College. He's pitched in 2 seasons for the Roadrunners, had a 5.20 ERA as a freshman, and now a 2.93 ERA as a sophomore. 40 innings, 14 walks, 41 Ks. He's at 92 strikeouts in his career, and has a flat 1 whip after having a 1.38 whip as a freshman. His first task will be the number 8 hitter, Elvis Quezada. He's 1 for 2 at a single in the 3rd inning. That was Middlesex's first hit of the game. It'll be Fogaril next for Middlesex in the top of the 5th inning. That one's away. 1 ball, 1 strike. 6-3, Middlesex leads Rowan College of Gloucester. 8 hits, 6 runs for Middlesex, no errors in the field. For RCSJ, 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 error in the field. One thing that I'll say so far, maybe this will change as we get into the second game, but the defense has been pretty clean. My only, I guess you could say, point of weakness would be for RCSJ. They have been way too nervous and uncomfortable in the outfield. There's been at least 3 batted balls today, maybe even more, that could have been playable, either whether it was for Delaney in center, for Mastero in right, or for Izzo in left. They have just been very cautious. And I don't blame them, again, because they don't play on turf that often, but that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded now. The main point that I'm making is that I would like to see RCSJ rip off the Band-Aid a little bit more and take some risks in the outfield, because all 3 outfielders that I just mentioned, Izzo, Delaney, and Mastero, they are very good defensive outfielders. You know, all of them know how to play the game well, and they've played on turf enough times where, you know, I was thinking that they would have a good shot at making those plays. But, I mean, really, who knows? But I feel like they've been playing too far back on the ball, and there might be a few runs that would be saved if not for that conservative mindset. But it's a swing and a miss to Fogaril. It's 0-2. He is 0 for 2 on the day. Pop out to the pitcher in the 3rd, strikeout swinging in the 4th. Big pitch here for Tommy Bradley, the right-hander formerly of Penn State, and before that, Monsignor Bonner in Philadelphia. No balls, 2 strikes to Fogaril. High chopper out towards Cohen at second base. Picked up on the glove. Underhand flip is in time, and the inning is over. So Middlesex gets a run on an RBI single by John Oranchek, and they leave the bases loaded as they chase Kirby out of the game. They chase Bryson Kirby out, and they bring in Tommy Bradley. We're at the halfway mark in Game 1. It's 6-3. Halfway home here at Camden, at least in Game 1. We still have a long way to go today, but we're glad you're with us here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. You can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. That pitch is, they're going to say it hit him. That must have barely grazed Joe Mayer. And it puts a runner on the first pitch, and no argument from C.J. Mooney, but that'll put the runner on. I'm a little bit surprised there, but again, I'm behind the plate, and the home plate umpire has a much better view than I do. So Joe Mayer will get called for the hit by pitch, and it'll bring up Alex Apicella. 3-run lead for Middlesex, 6-3. They brought home 1 run in the top of the 5th inning on an RBI single by John Oranchek. Apicella in the game is 0 for 2, but he did drive in a run, had a sacrifice fly. I guess that would make him 0 for 1 then. Trails inside, but called a strike, 1-1. Mayer with the hit by pitch. That was his second time reaching base, singled in the third. The 1-1. Ground ball. Out to short. Tough play. Bobadilla fading away. Not going to have a play. He took a hard fall. He lost his footing, and he's going to take a second to get up here. Runners will be on first and second as Mayer is safe, Apicella is safe, and Bobadilla seems okay.
Right fielder number 22, Jack Mistero.
Remember, taking a fall like that on turf hurts a lot more than it does on grass. You don't have as much of a cushion. I mean, listen, I was born in 2005, but I remember the stories when my cousin lived in Texas and would see games at the Astrodome. It was best described as, and you could see as Mistero drops a bunt out to the pitcher. They'll go for the lead runner. No play, no play. Nobody was covering third. Quezada wasn't there, and it's a bunt single, back-to-back hits, and Mistero loads the bases for Nick Slogic. So that will be a successful sacrifice, even though he didn't get an out because the pitcher tried to go towards the lead runner. And now Middlesex will bring out one of their coaches to talk over with Nick Anderson. But as I was talking about, I mean, listen, I was not old enough for Veterans Stadium or any of the cookie cutter stadiums in the 80s and 90s that had that had a different kind of turf or AstroTurf. But a lot of people described it as like you were playing on concrete. You know, you would see guys like Lenny Dykstra dive for a ball or Cesar Cedeno dive for a ball, and they would literally come up bloody because of how thin and rough the AstroTurf was. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not too prolific in the specific turf technologies, but I would have to imagine, considering that I've stood on this turf before and, you know, have gotten a good feel for it, it certainly is not the AstroTurf that we're used to from many decades ago, many moons ago. Up and out to Nick Slogic. He's 0 for 2. Pop out to first base in the first inning. Flew out to left in the third. Slogic with the bases loaded. One swing could give RCSJ the lead. This one is hit out to center field, going over. Tough play, makes the catch. Runner tags. Oh, wow, the run comes in, but diving back to second base is Apicella. He left too early, and he had to backpedal, so nobody advances except for the runner at third. It's a sacrifice fly, and it makes it 6-4. And now Nick Izzo will bat.
Left fielder, number 12,
so
Nick
Slogic
Izzo.
does drive in the run. It scores the leadoff man in Mayer, who got hit by the pitch. But everybody else held up on the line drive to center field. It's out number 1, and the batter is Izzo. He doubled in the fourth inning. Led off a campaign that brought home 2 runs, as that one just missed. We were talking about Middlesex's staff. C.J. Mooney, his 13th season at Middlesex, was a All-American when he played at Middlesex in 2009 and 2010. So he's a relatively young coach. As Izzo, fly ball center field. Going back, straight away. Runner will tag from second. A flailing throw by Tamayo. He's safe. Bang, bang, play at third. That one was very tough, but the crew chief had a handle on it. And in there is Alex Apicella. It's out number 2.
Catcher number 11, Jaden Rosado.
So the fly ball to center field, back-to-back times that Tamayo has had to make that play. And now it's Rosado, who homered to left field back in the bottom of the fourth inning. A 2-run shot to left field. First pitch from Anderson. Strike called, 0-1. After this pitch, we will take a look at the replay for that bang-bang play at third base. Assuming it's not put in play, the 0-1. Low, 1-1, so let's take a look at it then. All right, so here's the play. Fly ball to center field. I mean, Izzo struck it well, and I had a feeling that Apicella was going to be on the move. Well, let's take a look at the throw here. We'll see if we can get it to go. I mean, the throw kind of beat him. Oh, I think he got him. He might have gotten him at third base. It's a swing and a miss. It's 1-2. That might have been risky. We'll take a look at it again when the inning is over, but RCSJ has cut the lead to 2. 6-4 in favor of the Colts. Runner goes, it's low, and Gonzalez won't have a play. Rosado, 1 for 2, struck out in the second inning. Anderson only has 1 strikeout. He's certainly been a pitch-to-contact guy, but Middlesex, for about 90% of the game, has been having their wits about them in the field. Haven't had a lot of mistakes and no errors in the field. That one's low, 3-2. After Mestero went down to second, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A base hit in any capacity, if it goes to the outfield, could tie this game on what would be the Roadrunners' 7th hit. The 3-2 from Anderson. Ground ball, third base. Quezada bobbles it. He'll have a tough play. Throw to first is high, but the runner gets the bag down as Akisto barely got it down in the nick of time, and Middlesex hangs on to the lead. So it's 6-4 going to the top of the 6th inning. What a game this has been as the Colts lead by 2. Top of the 6th inning, it's 6-4. Middlesex over RCSJ. Tommy Bradley faces the leadoff man Chase Trillaro as that one misses, 1-0. Get to see the fabulous Patco train coming over the bridge. Over the Ben Franklin, moving rather slowly for what it's worth. That one misses inside. Love that Patco train though. You can actually see the baseball field very well if you're riding from inside the train. I remember last year I was at a Phillies game. It was like a Sunday afternoon, so there was nothing going on here, but sometimes when I go to Phillies games, I take the Patco, switch over to the Broad Street line, and go to the stadium that way. But when you're taking the Patco over the bridge this way, that's a base hit in the right field by Trillaro, you can very well see the field from the train if you're sitting at the window. You can't see it on the way over. The bridge blocks it. But you can very well see it from the window if you're going back from Philadelphia to New Jersey.
Number 8, Stanley Bobadilla.
So here's Bobadilla, had that 3-run home run that really tipped the scales on this game and really changed the trajectory. It opened up the scoring after 2 rather silent innings. It looked like we were going to be in for a pitcher's duel, but now every team has scored in the last 6 half innings. 3, 2, and 1 for Middlesex, 1, 2, and 1 for RCSJ's, 4 runs total. Bradley, curveball, outside corner, called a strike. Yeah, that's probably the best way to get over to the Phillies game, or even really anywhere in the Philadelphia sports complex. Might want to avoid those trains for the World Cup, though. That's going to be interesting. I mean, considering I live 15 minutes from here and from the Philadelphia sports complex, that is always a unique treat, trying to get around it on the Eagles game days, as that one's up and away. But I can't imagine, I mean, an Eagles crowd versus a World Cup crowd. Can't imagine that's going to be very pleasant to drive through. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bobadilla. Another throw over to first. Bradley getting his money's worth over there with Slogic. Slogic, who nursed an ankle injury for a good chunk of last year, a multi-sport athlete. He was recruited by James Madison to play football, and I'm actually not sure. I believe he was also recruited for baseball, kind of like a Kyler Murray style, but he would have been a tight end at James Madison. He went to Sechem High School East, which is in Holbrook, New York, right on Long Island. Another throw over to first. Slogic takes the ball at his chest and no tag on the runner. But Slogic shares a similar story with his teammate that's in the dugout right now, Scott Lynch. Now, I actually went to high school with Scott. He graduated a year ahead of me. And a high chopper, third base side. Tough play. Apicella in the dirt. It gets away. Middlesex catchers have to get away from the ball to avoid interference. Getting down to second base will be Bobadilla. And Apicella threw the ball away for a 2-base error. And Middlesex continuing the threat in here as they look to score for the 4th straight inning here in Game 1 of the Region 19 Final Four. And that will bring up Akisto with 2 runners in scoring position. He's 0 for 2, a walk, a flyout, and a strikeout. Strike called to Akisto.
Now batting the first baseman, Ryan Akisto.
But Scott Lynch was a 3-sport athlete at Audubon High School in Camden County. That one's away. He was the school's quarterback in football. He was pretty much second on a lot of all-time records, and the only man in front of him was Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco. As the 1-1, ground ball by Akisto to third base. Apicella looks back to runner, and Slogic dove for it. He's off the bag. He's safe. Slogic had a last-ditch effort to get out of there. Now Rob Valley's immediately coming out of the dugout to contest the call. We'll have a replay of it. We'll take a look. But if this holds, then we'll have the bases loaded with nobody out. 3 straight base runners getting on. And now the umpires are going to talk it over. Again, our officials today, as a part of the United Umpiring Association, it's Ben DiCostanzo is the crew chief. It is Frank Braccato and Aaron Brown, the other 2 assistants. Okay, so let's take a look here at the replay. Your replay is presented by Harper Driving School. This was a slow roller to third. That really was a tough play. And again, Valley asked for the umpires to talk it over. Here's the play here. It was a tough play for Apicella at third. He looked back the runner, and we're going to run this frame by frame here. And They did call the runner out. And now C.J. Mooney is going to contest the call. So they're going to talk with their 2 umpires. But let's take a look at this on our end. So it was a slow roller. Apicella picked it up. And his foot is off the bag there. And when his foot touches the bag, it looks like Middlesex runner was a step past the bag. So they call the runner out. We'll take a look at it one more time. Foot's off, 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 and it gets back on as soon as Middlesex's runner touches the bag. So we don't have the best angle of it, but they overturned the call, and it puts runners on second and third. No runs scored, and it'll end up being a 5-3 ground out. Ground ball out to short. This time the runner will score. Mayer looks back the runner, pump fakes to first, and makes a strong throw to retire Gonzalez for out number 2. But it's now 7-4 on the ground out. And it keeps the runner at bay at second base. Scores Trillaro. And now it'll be Collado, the left fielder. If you want my personal opinion, I think that was not the right call. I think that Middlesex's runner was either on top of the bag or past the bag when Slogic's foot regained control, because his foot was not off the bag by much. In no way would that be argued that his foot was off the bag by a lot. It wasn't very clear, but I think that I don't think that there's – the way that it goes in any level of baseball is that whether you're using video review or umpire review is that you need a lot of evidence to overturn the call. That goes in Major League Baseball when they review the play up in Secaucus, and they say, if it counts 2-1, they say that the umpire's call on the field will stand unless there's overwhelming evidence to overturn it. And if you ask me, I don't think there is overwhelming evidence to overturn it. And in that case, you just go with the call on the field. But it's 2-2. And again, I don't try to get in the way because I am not an umpire. I have never umpired a game. And I know that it is a very stressful job. I just don't think that that's the right call. And imagine if it loaded the bases, it kind of ended up being a win for Middlesex because if they loaded the bases on that second ground ball, could have had a double play. And Mastero lines in to make that play, goes for a beeline, and makes the play. But an RBI ground out by the Colts extend their lead to 3 runs going to the bottom of the 6th. It's the Colts 7 and the Roadrunners 4. Bottom of the 6th inning here from Camden Athletic Complex, just beneath the Brent Franklin Bridge.
Number 1, second baseman, Gavin Cohen.
As it's the bottom of the 6th inning, Gavin Cohen leads us off. After 1 run came across for Middlesex in the top half of the inning. They lead it 7-4 as Gavin Cohen leads us off. It'll be Comiskey and then Delaney, 7-8-9. Strike called, 0-1. The second game of the day will be Camden County versus Brookdale. Scheduled for 3 o'clock. Right now we're running at, 1:46. So the chances of the game actually starting at 3 are slim. But that's what happens when you play 27 innings in one day. As the 1-1. This one's a high chopper out towards second base. High bounce, throw to first. Bang, bang play, and Cohen is out for out number 1. And again, you're seeing this awareness from the Middlesex infield that really hasn't been matched by RCSJ. I feel like with RCSJ, they're waiting too much for the ball to come to them. And, of course, there was that mistake in the third inning that led to RCSJ's first run by Stanley Bobadilla. But you see Middlesex here. You're watching the second baseman Fogarelli or the third baseman Quezada. Those guys are charging the ball. Those guys are doing, in my opinion, a lot better of a job of getting active to the baseball and reacting to how the turf feels. You know, they're expecting the high bounces, but they've played enough of the game to where they're used to it. Because guess what? You're going to have to play the whole weekend here. So whether you figure it out or not, it can play a big role in whether or not you're going to succeed. I think about it in the sense of there was a controversy for the SEC, I believe it was the SEC, that announced that they were going to play their softball tournament in the AA ballpark of a minor league baseball team in Birmingham, Alabama. I believe it was the Birmingham Barons, which is the AA affiliate of the White Sox. That's the team that Michael Jordan very famously played on during his retirement in 1994. As a line drive into right field, this one could stay fair. It's going to be out of play. It's foul. Comiskey just missed the baseball field. Now they've, of course, put up a fence that is regulation size for softball, and they redid the infield to skin the infield to make it softball regulations, but people were worried still about that condition, and that still applies as this ball's a jam shot over the mound. Tough play, Bobadilla. He got him. Back-to-back bang-bang plays at first base. And there's 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. This will bring up Caleb Delaney now. Middlesex will bat 6, 7, and 8 in the top of the 7th with Tamayo, Orenchek, and Quezada. First pitch to Delaney. Beat out an infield single in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2. But 2 close plays in the infield. A 4-3 ground out for Cohen and a 6-3 for Comiskey. As like we said, both teams for the game following this one are here. Camden and Brookdale. This ball's fouled back. Hits off the netting, and it's 1-1. The inning continues after him. It'll be Joe Mayer, who's reached base twice in 3 plate appearances. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anderson still working hard here, trying to get through 6 innings of work, despite giving up 4 runs as it's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs, bases empty, nobody home for the Roadrunners. This could break a long scoring streak in a back-and-forth battle between both sides, but Middlesex has led since the scoring opened in the 3rd. The 1-2 low, and by that I mean these teams have scored in 7 straight half innings. Middlesex had 3 in the 3rd. RCSJ had 1. Both teams scored 2 in the 4th, and both teams scored 1 in the 5th. Still a 3-run game. That one misses low. It bounces away from Gonzalez, and a gentleman picks it up from the dugout and trades it off with RCSJ's dugout. That's Jaden Mercado, number 13, being the upstanding guy on the top step. 3 balls, 2 strikes, bottom of the 6th inning in a 3-run game. Delaney laces it back up the middle, and the inning stays alive. It's a base hit. Picked up in center by Tamayo, who will lead off the 7th inning. And puts the runner on with RCSJ's 7th hit of the game, and the 2nd by Delaney, as Joe Mayer will bat. Now, Middlesex doesn't have anybody warming up in the bullpen right now, and I haven't seen them warm up anybody as of late. So I feel like with Middlesex, they are really going to try to stretch out Nick Anderson for as long as they can, because 3 runs, that's a good lead, but it's certainly not a safe lead, especially in junior college baseball. We see teams make wild runs in JUCO baseball, and it's never easy to predict. So it especially makes you curious what Middlesex's plan is, because like we said, the format for this double elimination tournament, as a ground ball to 3rd, Mayer has it, throw to 2nd, Diving stop, and it's in time. Delaney is retired. I thought getting the runner at first would have been easier, but Middlesex takes a gamble, and they hit 777s. On to the 7th. It's 7-4 in favor of the Colts.
Jamie Tamayo.
Jamie Tamayo leads us off in the top of the 7th inning here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Top of the 7th inning. The 1-0 is called a strike. 6, 7, and 8 for Middlesex. It's Tamayo, Oranchak, and Quezada. Tamayo, 1 for 3, fly out, double, and a strikeout. Laced the ball pretty well to left field. There's a strike called. Second pitcher of the game for RCSJ, Bryson Kirby, was chased after 3 2/3 innings. But RCSJ has not gotten out of the fight in this game, a 7-4 deficit for the 3-time national champions. As that ball boots off of Mayer into left field. Now the runner's going to go to second base. A bouncing throw. He's safe. Mayer with a last-ditch effort from the seat of his pants after booting the ball. Just not a play that you want at any juncture. And Tamayo reaches on what will be RCSJ's first error of the game. It's a 2-base error. And John Oranchak, who has an RBI earlier in this game, will bat in the 7th slot. Going down to second base, no play there. Oranchak out of East Brunswick High School, he's a sophomore. .320 average, 6 home runs, 51 RBIs, and 17 stolen bases. 1-0 count. Swing and a miss. Big swing by Oranchak. Oranchak, 2 hits in the game, 2 for 3. Showing bunt. Rosado clutched back to second base, didn't have a play, and it's 1-2. One-two from Bradley. Lined, left field line, it's out of play. Misses inside. Two balls, two strikes. Bradley delivers. That one's up. Who knows? This game has been wildly unpredictable. And the 3-2 is a chopper foul over the head of Quezada in the on-deck circle. Just past the 2-hour mark in this game so far. 11 hits, 7 runs for Middlesex. We near the 2 o'clock hour, and that's ball 4. Nobody out. Bradley's in trouble, and nobody's warming up in that Roadrunner bullpen. 2 runners on, and it'll be Quezada.
Third baseman number 22.
And again, I'll remind you, even though the Roadrunners were not Region 19 champions last year, Brookdale won their 3rd title, that the Roadrunners defied the odds and, again, somehow went into last year's tournament as a higher seed than Brookdale, but still managed to win their 3rd consecutive Division III championship. Defeating Century College. I mean, in the championship game, it was 16-1. So even though, I mean, I talk with people a lot about RCSJ and about their baseball program. They've lost 10 games in the regular season. That's a high number for them. Last year in Region 19 play, they went 30-0. Didn't lose a single game, and they won 23 of their 30 games in Region 19 Division III by more than 8 runs. I mean, there's a reason why up until May of this year, or up until I think it was mid-April, and I think Middlesex was the team to dethrone them, they were the #1 team in the nation for 4 years, 2023, 2024, 2025, and most of 2026. But this is definitely a day that if RCSJ loses today, it'll be one to forget, and they'll have to turn the page and head into day 2. But we still have 9 outs on each side. Anything can happen as Elvis Quezada's the batter. Bradley throws to second, no play. Again, second game will be Camden versus Brookdale. Camden upset the 3-seed RC Cumberland in the first round. They beat them 12-2 in game 1, 5-4 in game 2 to upset the Dukes as that one's away. RCSJ Cumberland was the 4th team in the Region 19 tournament last year. Lost both games, lost one to Brookdale on a walk-off, and then lost 16-0 in game 2. As now the infield is in for RCSJ, at least on the corners. Back pick, second base, the throw hits off the glove of Mayer, but no play. And the ball missed. It's 2-0. But you just have to imagine, that the Roadrunners are getting more and more frustrated with every single passing minute. Because this game, it hasn't been bad. It's been competitive. But the Roadrunners don't settle for competitive. I mean, again, I've seen games where they will win and they will shellac the other team and they still won't be happy about it because of something that they messed up or something that they did wrong. God forbid you lose a game. That's a whole different level. But that's the standard, and Middlesex is trying to upend the standard and start a new one. That one's away. Again, this will be the 2nd year in a row, and of course we still have plenty of time, but this will be the 2nd year in a row that RCSJ would lose their first playoff game. They lost to Salem 7-5 in a 12-inning gauntlet last year that involved one of the wildest, clutchest home runs you'll see in a long time. Bradley calls off his catcher. Rosado has the throw, and he throws it away. The runner trips. Runner scores. Here comes a second one. Aranchak around. 2 runs in. Middlesex leads 9-4. Don't count out those Colts. With nobody out, Bradley called off Rosado, and it was the wrong call because he threw it away. A throwing error on Bradley on the bunt. Matt Hewitt warming up in the bullpen down the left field line. That was very fast. And off of Quezada's batted ball that trailed in front of the mound, Tommy Bradley called his own number, and unfortunately he hung up as a 2-run throwing error from Tommy Bradley makes it a 5-run game, the largest lead that Middlesex has possessed tonight. They led by 4 back in the 4th inning, but the second error of the game by RCSJ, not to mention the second of the inning as Mayer had a bad error to lead it off with Tamayo. Popped up. 1-1. Bradley still working, but Hewitt, the right-hander out of Rancocas Valley Regional, is in the bullpen. Bunt, back in front of the mound. Bradley has it. This time, he makes the throw. You got to imagine that was the plan there, because they moved the runner over, but I think they were trying to strike at the vulnerability of Tommy Bradley there, where they were trying to go exactly back to where they started and see if they can force him to make another bad throw. The worst case scenario is that you're out and you move the runner over. So it's a net benefit no matter how you slice it for Middlesex. But they now move what would be the 10th run of the game over to third base as that one's away. Still only 1 out in the inning for the leadoff man in Chase Trillaro. He's had 3 hits tonight and an RBI back in the 4th inning. 2 singles, a double, and a ground out to second base. So he's 3 for 4. Bradley's 1-0. That one's lined right center field. Perfectly struck off the bat, and Trillaro brings in Quezada. He'll go to second base. Quezada scores from third. It's an RBI double. Chase Trillaro, and it's 10-4. 6-run lead for Middlesex. And they are having a party in that first base dugout. 3 runs across, 1 out in the inning. It's their second inning of 3 runs or more.
The shortstop number 8, Stanley Bobadilla.
It's the 4th hit of the game for Chase Trillaro. And now here's Bobadilla. Outside, 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Ground ball out to second. It'll move Trillaro to third. Cohen on the run. He'll make the play. That's out number 2. And that will now bring up the number 3 hitter in Akisto. So 4-3 ground out.
First baseman, Ryan.
And as we mentioned, we are now in the 5th rotation of the order. Two outs, runner on third base in a 10-4 game. Bradley misses outside to Akisto to start the at-bat. Again, if you're Rob Valley, and arguably if you're CJ Mooney as well, you really have to be delicate with your pitching because if you lose the game, you have to stay. We talk about Game 7s being win or go home. Well, in this, it's win and go home. If you win your game today, you don't have to stick around. But whoever loses, they do. And that will make the elimination game the first of the tournament. That'll be set for 6 o'clock. But like we said, with this game being a high-scoring affair, the chances of Game 2 starting on time are slim to none, and the chances of Game 3 starting on time, I think that was 0 before we even got here. But it's 2-1. I think last year for the Region 19 tournament, that 12-inning game with Salem and RCSJ went 3.5 hours. So we didn't leave the ballpark for 3 games until maybe like 11 p.m. And then we had to do it all over again the next day. The 2-1. Line drive, left center field. This has a chance to get down, and it will. It'll split Delaney. He spears it on the high glove, holding it first. That's actually a really good play by Caleb Delaney. That could have been extra bases, and he cut it off. It's an RBI single. 4 runs in the inning, and Akisto adds on another.
Pitcher, number 15, AJ.
It's
Gonzalez.
11-4. So here is A.J. Gonzalez as Trillaro comes in from third. It's the first RBI and the first hit, but they are leaving Tommy Bradley out there because, again, if RCSJ loses, they have to have a ready pitching staff for Game 2. I mean, you could go from the number 1 seed to out in the matter of maybe 8 or 10 hours. Talk about a roller coaster of this tournament as that ball's hit in the left field by Gonzalez playing back his Izzo. He'll make the play, and the inning is over. But Middlesex continues to swing the bat. 11 runs, 11 hits, and a 7-run lead. It's stretch time here in Camden. It's the Colts 11 and the Roadrunners 4. Stretch time here at Camden. A little disappointed they didn't play the 7th inning stretch, but what are you going to do? It's 11-4. Middlesex leads by 7 runs over Rowan College of South Jersey. Alex Apicella is the batter. This is Region 19 Final Four. This is the first game. Just to bring everybody back up to speed, this has been a long and daunting game, but after 2 quiet innings, Middlesex opened up the game with a 3-run home run off the bat of their number 2 hitter, in Stanley Tartaballo, as that'll get through in the left field. Base hit for Alex Apicella. Middlesex has scored in 5 straight innings. RCSJ got a run back on a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 3rd. In the top of the 4th, Middlesex added on 2 more runs, and the Roadrunners responded with 2 more runs on a 2-run home run by Jaden Rosado. 1 run was traded on each side in the 5th inning, and then another run that was unanswered in the top of the 6th came home on another RBI single by John Aranchak. And then that crooked number in the top of the 7th, it was a 4-run, 8-batter frame for Middlesex as they brought home a handful of runs. There were 2 errors in the inning, one on Joe Mayer, another on the pitcher Tommy Bradley. And in total, Middlesex now with 11 runs on 11 hits, and the Roadrunners looking for their first run since the 5th. Jack Mastero takes outside. Taking a look again at those national RBI leaders, you've got Sebastian Palma of Dallas Eastfield, another longtime contender in NJCAA Division III, and then Mastero, second in the nation at 86. Nick Slogic with 82, Nick Izzo 72, Robert Mello 70, and then Dalton Harper at 69 of SUNY Niagara, and Mike Schaefer of 68. So now it's just C.J. Mooney and Nick Anderson talking it over on the mound. But if this is it for Nick Anderson, I would say he's had a very admirable day against a top 3 team in the nation, a team that's won 3 straight national championships. Kind of reminds me of how John Gambone did versus Rowan College last year for Salem. You know, he was taken out in the middle of an inning, and of course Salem did not have the lead going into the last frame. But that 2-run home run sticks in a lot of people's brains from last year and how deep of a run Salem made. Mastero pops it up. This is a mile high to shallow right field, and when it comes down, it'll be in the glove of Trelaro for out number 1. So this will bring up Nick Slogic in the number 4 spot. Roadrunners with 4 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors in the field. That was a towering fly ball. And with the mix of clouds and sun can certainly make it hard to see if you're an outfielder, but that's why almost all of them are equipped with those shades. I find it funny, there's the shortstop, Tartaballo. He's got the shades on top of his cap, so he's not actually wearing the sunglasses. He's just got them on top of his head, which that's not going to help you when you have a towering fly ball that's coming down faster than you can react to it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slogic, sacrifice fly earlier in the game, brought home the most recent run for RCSJ in the 5th inning. Roadrunners have had a hit in every run except the second when they went down 1-2-3. They had 1 in the first, 2 in the third that brought home a sacrifice fly. They had 2 more in the 4th, but were quickly shut down. 2 more in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and now 1 in the 7th. That ball trails foul. Gonzalez lets it go, and it's 2-2. That ball skipped up off the batter's box, did not hit Slogic, though, in the box. And it's 2-2. But as we said, very quiet action for Middlesex. No action in their bullpen at this time. So, dare I say, if Anderson runs out of gas, that could be a pendulum effect that Middlesex does not want at this point in the game. As Slogic lines it to right field, that's a base hit. 1 hops cleanly to Trelaro, sliding in is Apicella. Diving back in at first is Slogic. And it's a 1-out base hit, puts 2 runners on.
Left fielder number 12, Nick Izzo.
Brings up Nick Izzo. So the question will be, the pertinent question of the hour will be whether or not Middlesex will be smart with their usage of this starting pitcher. Because you're really going to have to figure out whether or not he has enough gas in the tank to complete the inning or even go out to the 8th. I mean, if he completes 7 innings, I think that would be the most I would let him go if I was C.J. Mooney. Just because, I mean, listen, I don't know what he's at for pitch count. We can ask between innings, but in regards to Anderson, I would be a lot safer in a 7-run lead by having 1 guy for the 8th, get 3 outs, and have another guy for the 9th. Ooh, that ball hit Slogic in the knee on the back pick by Gonzalez. One ball, 1 strike as Nick Izzo takes it low. Izzo 1 for 3, had a double back in the 4th inning. That set up Jaden Rosado's home run out to left field for the former Bridgewater Raritan product and the freshman for RCSJ. Anderson looks back in the 1-1. That one hit him right in the back, right near the collarbone, and that loads the bases for Rosado.
Next up, the catcher, number 11, Jaden Rosado.
Bases loaded now with 1 out. 2 hits in the inning, and we're not counting the hit batter. Rosado had a 2-run home run in the 4th. That was skied to deep left field. Rosado skies this one way up, way back. out at third base. 0-1. Rosado batting .393 this year. That home run was his 6th of the season. 56 RBIs, 48 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. Has also walked 19 times, 13 times in conference play. Outside. One ball, one strike to Rosado. This ball skied into deep left field. This one's sending back to the warning track. It's caught in left. Coming home is Apicella. Run scores on the sac fly. Roadrunners have now scored 3 of their 5 runs on a sacrifice fly. It brings in the runner from third, nobody further, and it's 11-5.
Second baseman, number 1, Gavin Cohen.
So that ball taken in by Collado in left on the 5th batter of the inning. And here's Gavin Cohen. He's 0 for 3, has had 3 groundouts in the infield, all to the hitter's side. As that one's inside, which is really where Cohen is. I think if you brought all the folks in RCSJ starting lineup and asked me which one is most likely to pull the ball to the hitter's side, it's Gavin Cohen. I mean, not that he can't hit the ball the other way, but the way that his bat works, where his elbow gets out in front of it, you're a lot more likely to see him pull the ball to the right side, which is what he's done 3 times today. A ground out to first and 2 to second base, as that one's high. And also, he's a little bit shorter and he's a little bit crouched down in his appearance. So when he gets into it, first of all, he gets ahead of a lot of fastballs. And that can hurt him when you're facing 3 of the 9 outs that you need are down. Middlesex only has 6 more to go, and how much more can they add on the offensive side? Roadrunners get a run back on a sac fly, but through 7, it's 11-5.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
After an 8-batter, 4-run inning in the top of the 7th, we go to the top of the 8th where Collado leads us off. It's 5, 6, and 7. Collado, Tamayo, and Oranchak, as that one is high. Tommy Bradley still in the game, and for what feels like a long time, Matt Hewitt has been warming up, and we do have a right-hander warming up for Middlesex down the right field line. The 1-0 is grounded. High chopper over the middle. Takes a bounce on the turf. Mayer's got to play, and it's in time for out number 1. That'll bring up Tamayo.
Center fielder number 16, Jamie Tamayo.
Looks like the right-hander of the bullpen is Elvis Quezada, unless I'm wrong. It looks like number 22, so that would be Quezada. Now Quezada bats 8th in the lineup, and he's the starting third baseman, so you would presume that there would maybe, I mean, you can't pinch hit for him. It's not like high school where you have a free substitution. Honestly, not sure. One ball, one strike to Tamayo. Had a single in his last at bat, and he's going to get another single here, maybe more. Out to the left center gap. It splits perfectly between Izzo and Delaney. Going to second. Tamayo not stopping there. He's taking an aggressive send. Throw to third. He got him. And C.J. Mooney told him that he blew through the stop sign. And unfortunately, his ticket is back to the dugout. So 2 away. As I thought, I mean, it was a bang-bang play. I think that was the right call. I think he got him. But
number 3, John Aranchik.
Obviously, C.J. Mooney displeased with the fact that his batter on what was such a well-struck hit runs the team into an out. I mean, to be fair, 9 times out of 10, you rarely get the green light to run from second to third on an extra base hit that goes to the hitter's side. I mean, if he hit it to right center field, and I'm sorry, not to the hitter's side, but to the fielder's side, where if you hit that ball to right center field, off the Tart Monster or whatever, I think that he probably would have sent him to third because it's a longer journey to get there. But once Delaney cut it off and once it got to Mayer, that seemed like a pretty easy play. As that ball gets into right field, Aranchak makes up for it. And now Quezada will go from the bullpen to the dugout to the plate for a 2-out at bat here in the top of the 8th.
Elvis Quezada.
So 1-out single. 2-out single. First pitch to Quezada misses outside. So if Quezada comes in to pitch, this feels like a high school baseball game where you're going to have a whole bunch of defensive substitutions and you're essentially going to have a two-way player on the mound. I mean, there have been a few two-way players outside of Shohei Ohtani that are less known. Biggest one that comes to mind is Rick Ankiel. Of course, everybody knows Rick Ankiel for the meltdown he had in the 1999 NLDS. But he came back, basically had the yips, and came back after throwing 6 wild pitches, took a couple years in the minor leagues, tooled around, became an outfielder, and then came back to the St. Louis Cardinals. And if you remember in the 2007 NLDS, Rick Ankiel had like 2 monster throws versus Colorado, some of the best outfield throws you're ever going to see in a ballpark deeper than this. As that one's away, 2-2. But then he went back to pitching near the end of his career and kind of had a respectable career as both a pitcher and a hitter. Of course, I don't think anybody except Babe Ruth can match what Shohei Ohtani is doing. Of course, everybody knows Shohei Ohtani, but another name that comes to mind is Adam Lowen, pitched for the Phillies for a few years and was also with the Baltimore Orioles and Toronto Blue Jays. But, of course, two-way players are everywhere, even in the minor league system. Brendan McKay looked like he was going to be a left-handed version of Ohtani, threw lefty, batted lefty, but had a lot of injuries, had Tommy John, I believe, twice, and somewhat fizzled out of that Tampa minor league system. And I don't know where he's playing now. He might still be in Tampa, but he hasn't played in the big league since, I believe, 2020 or 2021. Quezada, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 11-5, top of the 8th. RCSJ looking to send us to the bottom half, and Quezada might be the one to replace Nick Anderson on the mound. It's a swing and a miss. Bradley gets him to chase low, and the inning is over. So 2 hits for Middlesex, but 1 thrown out in the act of running around on the bases. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning here in Camden, 11-5, Middlesex. What a day it has been for Nick Anderson. I was really thinking that Elvis Quezada would come in, but not only is he still in the field at third base, Nick Anderson is still on the mound. As this ball is launched to right field on the first pitch by Comiskey, going back towards the gap, and this ball is caught. What a deceptive fly ball. That looked like Comiskey tagged it well, but a late gust of wind kept us in the ballpark. And there's out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Center fielder number 5, Caleb Delaney.
So Nick Anderson is up over 110 pitches. He has only struck out one batter all day, but it hasn't mattered because Middlesex has had no errors, a clean sheet in the infield and the outfield, and they've made some good plays. They haven't been afraid to attack the ball. They've charged the ball very well. They've hustled on every ground ball except for 1 or 2, and this is just an amazing performance by a Middlesex team that maybe was doubted after they defeated RCSJ in the regular season because, you know, the saying goes that, well, you beat them in the regular season, but your record's 0-0 in the playoffs. And today, Middlesex is almost 4, but 5 outs away from topping the number 3 team in the nation and the number 1 seed in this Region 19 Final Four, which would be the 2nd straight year that the Roadrunners would have been upset in the first round. That one's low. So an 0-2 that barely missed and a 1-2 that missed by a lot more. As we said, the second game of the day will be Camden and Brookdale. First pitch is scheduled for 3 o'clock, but I don't think we're going to start on time. Maybe 15, 20 minutes behind schedule. That'll be under our live tab on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. For Game 3, depending on who wins or loses, we will put the link up immediately after Game 2. We'll try to do it as quickly as possible, but we will have that up, and then as soon as we figure out who plays who in Game 4, which starts at 12 noon tomorrow in the winner's bracket, that's basically whoever wins both games today. So it could be Middlesex and Camden or Middlesex and Brookdale or RCSJ. You never know. 6 runs and 5 outs. Roadrunners have done crazier things, but point is, we're going to do our best to be proactive with getting the links up so that you can share them out with your folks and continue to support our coverage of NJCAA baseball on Region 19 on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. As it's 2-2 to Delaney, who has 2 hits in the game. Nine hits for the Roadrunners, 5 runs. This one's another one fouled back towards the light towers. Anderson, the 2-2. Outside, 3-2. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. 11-5 Middlesex. NJCAA Junior College Region 19 Final Four. You don't get much better than this. And that's ball 4. So Delaney reaches, and C.J. Mooney not yet revealing himself from the dugout, but we'll see if he decides to make a move. That was a 9-pitch at bat.
Shortstop number 2, Joe Mayer.
And it's the 3rd time that Delaney has reached base with 2 singles and now a walk. That hits him. First pitch, Mayer reaches, and now Anderson's in some trouble. Left-hander warming up in the bullpen for the Roadrunners. It's number 13, which is Brevin Bezic.
Number 3, Alex Abasella.
And this is going to do it for Nick Anderson. 120 pitches, 1 strikeout, and 5 runs. And Middlesex, their entire infield embracing Nick Anderson because what he's done tonight, if this game holds, is masterful. Anderson exits with 2 runners that he will be responsible for. And indeed, Elvis Quezada will come in from third base. We'll see who their replacement is. But when we return, RCSJ will threaten in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 6-run, 11-5 game.
In the 7 spot, the DH is now in left field, and the 8 spot now comes into pitch, 9-man lineup.
Just heard that there from
Now
the
pitching
home
for
plate
Middlesex, number
umpire,
22,
Frank Mercado.
Elvis Quezada.
Elvis Quezada is the new pitcher. He comes in from third base, and in the 7 slot, that would be Orenchak. He now enters the game in center field, it looks like, and Jamie Tamayo, who was the center fielder, now goes to third base. So the DH is now forfeited, and will run a 9-man lineup from here on out. Apicella, fly ball, towering to center field, and a quick test for Orenchak. He'll make the play, runners trail, and there's 2 away. They like to say that the ball will find you in those situations, and that's exactly it. So with Julian Collado making the play out in center field. Now, just a quick correction. So here's all the changes.
Right
John
fielder,
Orenchak enters
Jack
the game.
Mastero.
Originally was the designated hitter. He's now in left field. Elvis Quezada moves from third base to the mound. Julian Collado moves from left field to center field. And the center fielder, Jamie Tamayo, moves from center field to third base. And a partridge in a pear tree as a ground ball foul. It's 0-1. Two runners on for RCSJ. They have not recorded a hit in this inning. Apicella, after the fly out to center, was out number 2. But Nick Anderson, his day wraps up with 5 earned runs in, 7 1/3 innings.
Defensive changes for Middlesex. Jamie Tamayo now at third
It's
base.
0-2
Justin
to
Collado
Mastero.
in center field.
But
John
5
Orenchak
runs, 9
to
hits,
left.
and 1 strikeout that came in the second inning to Jaden Rosado. And we did get the final pitch count as 119 pitches. You can't even pitch that many in high school without being taken out of the game. Nick Anderson, what a night he had. But RCSJ looks to claw back as Mastero fouls it back, and it's still 0-2. In the top of the 9th for Middlesex, it will be 9-1-2. Fogareel, Trelaro, and Bobadilla. In an 11-5 game, one of the most pivotal at-bats of the night for the team that's trailing. And he lines this one foul. Taking a look at the national batting average leaders, Brookdale, who plays in the second game, is first in the nation for Division III in batting average. They're .422. Hudson Valley in second at .403. RCSJ batting .402. Then behind them is SUNY Niagara, Monroe Bronx, Herkimer, and Northampton. Middlesex is 9th in the nation. Camden is 21st as a base hit to right. Stopping at third. A cautious approach, and the bases are loaded with 2 away for Nick Slogic. That's the first hit of the inning for the Roadrunners
Next
after
up
a
for
walk and a
Roadrunners,
hit
the
by
first baseman,
pitch.
Number 9, Nick Slogic.
Slogic is a sacrifice fly and a single in this game. Got out in his first 2 at-bats. Bases loaded, bottom of the 8th. Slogic, one of the most prolific power hitters in Division III, looks to turn this game on its head with a fly ball, center field. This one will stay in the park, and the wind comes in at the wrong time. On another day, that ball might have left, but Nick Slogic with a deep fly ball to center, and the second time today, the Roadrunners have left the bases loaded. We go to the 9th. Could be the last swings for Middlesex as we go to an 11-5 game in the final inning of Game 1. Top of the ninth inning, Brevin Bezic, the left-hander, is the new pitcher as Fogarelli, the 9-hitter, will bat for Middlesex. I'm Dan Wilkins of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Not required at all, but incredibly appreciated, as DWB broadcasts will always be available free to watch on YouTube. We've got all games from the beginning to the end in Region 19 baseball in the Final Four. Camden and Brookdale follows this one, and the losers bracket game will follow that one. Scheduled for 6 o'clock, but give or take, considering this game running a little bit long here, as that one's fouled back by Fogarelli. Brevin Bezic, the left-hander and sophomore out of Middletown South in the Shore Conference, pitched 10 innings last year. This season, 29 2/3, 25 walks, 36 Ks, and a 5.46 ERA, a 1.79 WHIP, as he faces the bottom and then the top of Middlesex's order, as they'll look for some much-needed insurance before RCSJ will look for a last stand on the offensive side in Game 1. Here's the 2-2. That one's up and in, 3-2. Fogarelli is 0 for 4. Gave himself up on a sacrifice in the 7th inning. Otherwise, a pop-up, a strikeout, and a ground out. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Middlesex, 11 runs, 15 hits, no errors. RCSJ-Gloucester, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors in the field. And Fogarelli gets the first base for his first base running appearance of the afternoon. And it'll send us to the top of the order for Chase Trillaro, who's got 4 hits, 2 extra base hits, and 2 RBIs. But got to imagine Nick Anderson, I don't think there's any world where he's not the player of the game if Middlesex hangs on. I mean, he gave up 5 runs, he gave up 9 hits, and you can say Trillaro had a bigger impact because he had 4 hits, but at the same time, there's been a lot of runs in this game that have scored on errors. There's a decent amount that have scored on sacrifice flies. If you can't find a standout product, I would dare say that your best case scenario then is the pitcher, just like in a football game. Oh, that ball gets away. Thrown away off the glove of Slogic. Going down to second base will be Fogarelli, and it'll put a runner in scoring position for Middlesex. That is the 4th error that the Roadrunners have committed today, and 2 of them have been charged to the pitcher. One from Tommy Bradley on a batted ball and a little dribbler on a bunt. Ground ball, third base side. Tough play for Mayer. Almost overran it, and that'll be an infield single. That is hit number 16. As Trillaro gets on, it's a 5-hit night. Unbelievable what he's been able to do. Throw back to second, not in time. But Trillaro, 5 hits and 2 RBIs, 3 singles, 2 doubles. Night to remember for the leadoff man. That one misses low. 1 ball, no strike. Still nobody out in the top of the 9th. If you're just joining us, it's an 11-5 game. Middlesex leads RCSJ and the Roadrunners in Game 1 of 3 in today's festivities. Camden and Brookdale will follow. The losers bracket elimination game will follow that. Grounder, dribbler over the middle. Tough play. Runner gets out of the way, and that ball gets away. It hits off the Middlesex dugout. Slogic now has a play at second. That throw is cut off, and an insurance run that was needed is delivered. As Fogarelli scores, Mayer had an unassisted out at second base, and now a run came in as that ball was thrown away. 5 errors by the Roadrunners, and that now makes it a 12-5 game. And there's only 1 out in the inning. And that Middlesex dugout, they feel prepared for the moment. As Rosado and Bevic talking it over. Trelaro was out on the batted ball. Fogareel came in from came in from second base to score, pardon, which is why he was hustling so hard on that throwaway. The batter is Akisto. 1 RBI and just 1 hit, a hit and a walk for him. This is his 6th plate appearance, as that one's outside. I mean, Bezek's just got to worry about the strike zone here. Can't let any extra factors get away from them in this game. Because, again, if we compare, if RCSJ does fall in this game, you have to compare the 2 times that they did lose. First of all, the Salem game from last year and then the game from this year. Well, the Salem game, as there's a line drive into center field, this is going to drop in front of Delaney. Coming around third, stop sign, a late stop sign. What a save by Bobadilla, as he literally slid past the bag to stop his momentum because C.J. Mooney had given him the green light, and then it turned from yellow to red straight away. Puts runners on the corners. That's now the 17th hit for Middlesex. And the batter is now A.J. Gonzalez, and Rob Valley will come out. Going to try to slow this game down just a little bit more, as Bevick in some trouble. There is Matt Hewitt is still in the bullpen. He's been warming up since Kirby was taken out and Tommy Bradley was in, but he got passed over for Brevin Bezic. But 1 out, and all 4 batters have put the ball in play. They have at least gotten on base. 2 singles, a fielder's choice, and a walk. 12-5 Middlesex. Home plate umpire Frank Mercado comes out. He's going to try to break this up. Waiting to see if he's going to call for a right-hander here. And can't imagine Mercado is too pleased with how long it's taken to get these mound visits done.
A.J. Gonzalez.
Runners on the corners, 12-5 game, 27 total hits in this game. 17 for the Colts and 10 for the Roadrunners. Time is called at the plate. Runners on first and third with the batter Gonzalez. Lefty-lefty matchup. Bevick on the edge of the rubber, misses low, and away. It's 1-0. In the that is not coming from the speakers. That is coming from somebody's car. Throw over to first. Or maybe one of those illegal dirt bikes that they ride on the street. I was thinking Edwin Diaz was about to come into the game and he was about to close this one out, but no, it's 1-0 count. Bevick delivers. That one's away. In the bottom of the 9th, if there's any reprieve for the Roadrunners, it'll be 5, 6, and 7 with Izzo, Rosado, and Cohen due up. But they still have to get out of this inning without allowing any runs. As there's a tapper, it's got a piece of the batter, and it's 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the on-deck circle will be Collado, who was the left fielder, now is the center fielder after the barrage of defensive substitutions followed Elvis Quezada into the game. 2-2, throw him back to first, not in time. Grounder up the first base line. It is foul. Just missed past the bag, and a big break for RCSJ. Still 2-2. And Brookdale, you can see their players lined up against the fence. Not only are they attentively watching the game, but they are anxious. This game is almost certainly going to run behind schedule. But part of that has been some of the delays. We've had some on-field delays, and also we've had a high-scoring game. That's another one foul, and at bats like these, don't speed up the game any quicker. But there is no pitch clock, or at least that I'm aware of, at NJCAA Region 19. And if there is, I think it only applies at Division I. I know NCAA has it at all three levels, Division I, II, and III. But I feel like for junior college, there's a lot fewer resources that would allow a pitch clock, because it all circles back to the decision. I mean, think about it. I mostly cover high school athletics. A big question that comes up is the shot clock for New Jersey high school basketball. That barely passed in a membership vote for the NJCAA by literally 2 votes, as the 3-2 is jammed, but hit pretty well in the center field. Delaney comes in. He'll make the catch. Here comes the runner tagging from third. It's going to one-hop. He'll let it go to the catcher. Now Rosado has a throw down to second, and it's late. Runner got in, and another run comes in for the Colts as it's now 13-5. It's out number 2. That is now the 7th run to score in this game across both sides on a sacrifice fly as Collado bats in the 5 slot with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Scoring was Bobadilla. And it's now Akisto on second base. For Collado, he reached on a fielder's choice, but otherwise he's 0 for 4. But there was a big controversy and a debate over the high school shot clock in New Jersey. It's been mulled over for years, and they finally put it up to a membership vote, and it, again, barely passed. I think it needed, if it lost maybe 2 votes, it wouldn't have been going, as 2 fastballs on the inside corner called a strike. But the debate came around on the naysayer side. Well, how are you going to install the resources? Who's going to foot the bill? As there's a swing and a miss. And the same applies for junior college. If you put in a pitch clock to speed up the game, what coaches are going to be in favor of it? What coaches are going to stay traditional and negative towards it? And also, for some of the colleges that don't have as much money, how much will that cost you in resources to have one on the field? But a strikeout to Collado ends the inning. Last swing for the Roadrunners. They'll need 8 runs to get this game back in their hands as Middlesex looks for an upset bid to top many upset bids before, as it's 13-5 going to the bottom of the 9th. Nick Izzo leads us off in the bottom of the 9th inning underneath beautiful skies here at Rutgers Camden. I'm Dan Wilkins of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, as Elvis Quezada in the bottom of the 9th inning will look to seal the deal in Game 1 and keep the Roadrunners on campus, as it's a strike called. Remember, we talk about win or go home. Well, today is win and go home. If you win today, you punch your ticket into the winner's bracket, and we'll play at 12 noon tomorrow versus the winner of Camden and Brookdale. The loser of this game will have to stick around through Game 2 to find out who they play. The only advantage is you do get maybe 3 hours of rest to turn around. But honestly, some players and some coaches don't like that, as there's a fly ball left field. Up there, going over and making the catch is Collado, out number 1. An 8-run game as Izzo,
now batting for the Roadrunners,
a part of that
11,
trio
Jaden Rosado.
of some of the strongest RBI hitters in the national discussion. You can see there Masteros, Logic, and Izzo. Those 3 have combined for only 1 RBI, and it came from Nick's Logic. With that Dallas Eastfield player leading the way with 91 RBIs. I mean, Dallas Eastfield also up there as one of the perennial greats in NJCAA Division III. I mean, Niagara's up there, Hudson Valley's up there, Century College made the national final last year as an 8 seed in the national tournament. Strike called to Rosado. Rosado had a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th inning, but the Roadrunners have only gotten a couple runs across at a time, and it hasn't been enough versus Middlesex as a dribbler. Up the first base line, first baseman fades away, ball is bobbled, and Rosado's going to get in there safely. A tough play, but it'll be a base hit. Akisto was going to get there, but I think he realized that the pitcher was not going to cover the bag.
Gavin Cohen.
So it puts Rosado on first base, who again had the wind knocked out of him early in the game on a pitch that bounced up and hit him in the neck. It's Rosado's second hit of the game, and the 11th for a total of 28 for the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners would fall to their 11th loss of the year, 36-11. Middlesex would improve to 38-15. The losses that RCSJ has had this year, they lost 1 to Allegheny College of Maryland back in February, lost 1 game to Camden, 1 to Hartford, a Division I, and then lost another 1 to Hartford a second time, got swept in that series at home and home, although for a non-conference, it's not as home and home as you'd expect. They lost twice to Middlesex and another time to Mercer County, and then they split their series versus Brookdale. Here comes a play at second. Throw to first, diving, he's in there safely. Bang, bang play, and Cohen keeps the Roadrunners alive for another batter on a tough play, but I think Cohen got in there. That would have been a 6-3 double play.
The Roadrunners number 19, Carter Comiskey.
So here is Comiskey. Rosado is out at second. It's a 6-3, or it's a 6 unassisted fielder's choice. 2 outs. Quezada loses his cap, and it's a strike called. The Roadrunners have rode an 8-game win streak into the series. Their last loss coming to Delaware Tech on April the 26th, but a ground ball. Second base. The flip is in time. And for the 3rd time this year, Middlesex has beaten the Roadrunners. And they do it in their most convincing fashion yet in a final score of 13-5. 4 runs in the 7th and 3 in the 3rd. Those bats were never quiet, and they send the Roadrunners not only into the loss column, but they send them for another long break before they have to play again at 6 o'clock tonight versus whoever falls in Brookdale and Camden. Your player of the game, easily Nick Anderson. 7 1/3 innings, 119 pitches. He only walked 1. Let's see. He had 1 hit by pitch. That was it. So 5 runs, 9 hits, no walks, 1 strikeout. There was no question that he put the ball in play, but when he did, his defense backed him up with no errors in the field. We'll be back for Game 2 in approximately, let's say, 30 minutes between Camden and the Cougars and the Brookdale Jersey Blues. Final score, Middlesex 13, Rowan College 5 here from Camden Athletic Complex. We'll be back shortly.